Good morning, gentlemen. This is the Crisis to Courage Daily Prayer for Men. Welcome if you are just joining us. It is January the 19th, 2021. We're almost to the end of our very first month in 2021. It's almost unbelievable. And this is an opportunity to bring you gentlemen together from the north, the east, the south, and the west. We've had people from South Africa and Belarus and the Ukraine and Jamaica and Jerusalem and all over in the U.S., Spokane, Washington, of course, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and Emmett, Idaho, and Fairfax, Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina, and San Antonio, Texas. It's a privilege to be able to be together, to join around the greatest thing in life, which is God and His Word. We are going to start today with our theme, which is the same theme, but it's kind of like the showdown today, where Elijah now has prepared all this time, and now he is going to take on 850 prophets of Baal. And the theme is, I will, using your masculinity God's way. And now we're on part 14. And by looking at the life of Elijah, who in James 5:17 that we learned, he was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he could have made different choices. And he chose to serve the one true God in the most wicked of times. So if you feel the pressure of wickedness around you because of what you hear on the news or what people are talking about, and there's all these competing different things, just think about Elijah. The prophets were literally being killed. Obadiah, as we learned yesterday, hid like 100 in a cave, 50 in one part and 50 in another part, and fed him with bread and water. So it was pretty serious. And you're going to see that Elijah did feel alone. He said, I'm left. I'm the only one left. He did not have the awareness that there were any other prophets left. And I'm sure that also put pressure upon him, but he stood, and that means if he stood, then we can too, because God is not changed. So we're going to start with their scriptural references, which is Psalm 121, but we've also referred to James 5:17, and we're going to be in 1 Kings 18:22 through 24. And I told you I'm going to take this just bit by bit because I want you to see the thinking of Elijah, how he used his masculinity God's way, not his own way. He would have been in a lot of trouble. He would have been dead, in fact. Psalm 121. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. We're going to see how the Lord was Elijah's help. He preserved him from evil, and his help came from the Lord. And he's going to basically now have this showdown with Elijah and say, this is it. Okay, now we're in 1 Kings 18:22 through 24. Then Elijah said to the people, I alone am left a prophet of the Lord. See, he thought that he was just by himself. And if you feel like you're by yourself, read about Elijah. He felt the same thing. But Baal's prophets are 450 men. Therefore, let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves. Cut it into pieces, and lay it on the wood, and put no fire under it. And I will prepare the other bull, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. Now see, God provided. You're going to see that God provided water later. He provided the bull. And this also shows God's provision. So the reason why you read the Old Testament, gentlemen, is to just see how they stood, how they persevered. Wouldn't you want to be like a man like Elijah? Instead of being the scared little man now and speaking what the world speaks, why don't you speak what God tells you to speak? Now, this is what Elijah says. Then you call on the name of your gods, the little gods like we learned yesterday, and I will call on the name of the Lord. Remember, the one that stands firm in the congregation. And the God who answers by fire, he is God. So all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. And that's as far as we're going to go today, because I want you to meditate upon that now there's this showdown. And Elijah is saying, look, it's your God, and it's against my God. And the God who answers by fire, he is God. Now I'm going to ask you today that the showdown in your life, it's not between a physical king, but now we fight principalities and powers. And you cannot win. Well, you've already won if you have Jesus Christ, but you can't win in your practical life if you choose the flesh. So, Papa, I thank you that guys will understand the theme. I will, using your masculinity, God's way, part 14. And they're not going to just hear the words. They'll be able to walk spiritually by making your word theirs. And just like Elijah, they're going to see that he overcame 850 prophets of Baal by the worst king and queen who had ever lived, because he knew his masculinity was directed by one, you. Thank you that we go today, and these gentlemen go and praising you, working hearts mightily, producing a shift with signs, miracles, and wonders following, which cannot be denied. In Jesus Christ's precious name, amen.